The Mortgage Geek is here with the ins and outs of investing in San Diego real estate. Let's welcome from Cornerstone Mortgage Group, the president, Sean Cahan, with his guest, loan officer, Michael Zhao.
All right, here they are, the dream team, Cornerstone Mortgage Group. What's up, fellas? Michael, great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sean, the Mortgage Geek, you've been here many times before.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Once or twice.
Yeah. You know, spread your knowledge. Mortgages, real estate. Hey, investments.
Yeah.
Investments.
Yeah.
Great topic.
Tough time, though, right? I mean, that's the thing. You know, you get to the what people would call the higher side of the curve in the market, which is kind of where a lot of people think we are right now. Mm-hmm. Investments start becoming few and far between. We talk about cap rates, and people are looking at. I mean, you know, people say I saw a flyer for a 4-unit investment property, and the advertisement on it was that the cap rate was 4.2%.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That was a selling point.
That's a market rent.
I mean, I saw that and I was like, that's the selling point? I mean, I have no interest whatsoever, but that's me.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't understand it, especially in San Diego, is that inflation plays a pretty large part of investing, especially in San Diego, whether for the investor or for the owner-occupant. I was just reading in the Union Tribune that over the course of the last year that home prices as a median had gone up 9%. 9%.
Yeah.
You know, and we're thinking San Diego prices at like, if it's like $400,000 on a home, you're talking about 9 times 4 is $36,000. And I was thinking to myself, wait a second, if I were to put down 3.5% on a home, that's $14,000 on a home, I literally just doubled my money in 1 year.
Or more.
Yeah.
Or more. Can you imagine what's going to happen with inflation over the course of time? So when we talk about like 4% cap rates or 4% rate of return, we're not taking the actual appreciation of value into consideration, which is actually pretty important for a lot of people, even if they only own one home. That's a big deal. I mean, that's going to be their future retirement, and or if they have a long-term real estate projection for investment properties in the future, it's a pretty big deal as well.
Yeah, well, I think people are. I mean, they have to be factoring that in or to pull the trigger on these things, right? They have to be looking at it and thinking, all right, maybe not as much as they did before the crash, where people were saying, oh, okay, well, I'll buy this with this negative payment I can't make, and yeah, it's probably priced too high now, but it'll be worth $100,000 more next year. I don't think people are doing that.
No.
But I do think that has to be part of the calculation, otherwise people simply wouldn't buy these places at 3 and 4% cap rates.
I mean, I was doing open house. Yes, I do open houses. It's amazing on Sunday.
Right.
And the current buyer purchased at $465,000 2.5 years ago, full price offer, day one, $550,000. I did not know that there were even houses in this area. I thought it was only commercial.
Wow.
I literally thought I was lost. And then I was like, oh, there's houses here. Neighborhood. And
what area?
I don't even know the area.
You don't even know where
over by Montgomery Field.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Arrow Drive.
All right. Yeah,
Like-
so that's Kearny Mesa-ish?
Yeah.
Kearny
Kind
Mesa,
of. Like
between
on the
Kearny Mesa and
backside
Claremont?
of, what are they, Sierra Mesa or
Yeah.
something over there.
Yeah.
But it was like too far north. I didn't know that it like came all the way that far north, you know,
Yeah.
almost all the way to the field. But I mean, check that out. It was a VA buyer who purchased it, right? 0 down.
Wow.
Turned around. 2.5 years later, sold for $550,000.
Oh.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Right?
that is crazy. And I worry, though, the more that happens,
Yeah.
you know, the more you hear those stories, the more I get concerned. Because the more it spreads that you're going to make $100,000 in a couple of years or whatever it may be.
He bought a flip. His
bought a
house
flip.
was a flip. So he bought it at the top of the market when he bought it because it was a flip.
Wow. That's amazing.
Well, and I'm sure, now he bought it to live in it.
He did.
So I'm sure at the time he wasn't thinking, I'm going to sell this in a couple of years and make 90 G's. He was probably thinking, hey, this is a good price. It's a turnkey home. Let me go ahead and get into it. And then demand, the laws of supply and demand in San Diego real estate work, you know, very forcefully, violently, almost like the ocean, unrelentingly. But it's also still, because of the low inventory situation, what we found is that it is a little bit, it's on more eggshells than people are willing to admit.
Really?
Yes,
I think
because of the low inventory. If we really had, with this low of inventory, if we really had that much demand, we would see prices going much higher than they are, I think.
I think we're going to see home prices going up little bit faster, I think, than usual. I think there's a lot of money out there still that's still really untapped.
That is true.
Sideline
And
money
we,
big
you
time.
know,
Yeah.
and it was just announced this past week that the conforming loan limits are going up, which means that our high balance loan limits are going to be going up as well. And so that's going to make purchasing much easier, not much easier, but it's going to make it a little bit easier at least for those who want to purchase in San Diego, even for the first time. And I think that with the limited inventory, I think that there's going to be still good job growth in San Diego County. I think we're going to see higher prices. If anybody who's listened to me over the course of this last year, I was telling everybody the sky was falling. I don't believe that anymore. And in
So
fact,
you become very optimistic.
recently I have.
Okay.
I believe that the jobs are going to be there, and I think it's not interest rates. Even though we're going to see interest rates going up, I don't think it's
Healthy.
Yeah, I think it's very healthy.
Need
Higher
that.
interest rates means healthier economy, which means
need
that
it.
there's going to be jobs, which means if there's jobs, then people are going to be buying.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, and here's the thing. So like, you look at the price of anything, okay? Say here's zero, here's $1 billion, whatever. Here's the price of anything. Demand also fluctuates based on price. So what we are seeing now, you mentioned money on the sidelines. There's a ton of money on the sidelines. A ton of money that's been sitting on the sidelines. There's a lot of investor cash on the sidelines too. But that money I don't think is going to enter at this point in the marketplace. I think that money is waiting for this point in the marketplace. That's the thing. That's why because in order to get prices to go higher, you have to have someone who's willing to pay more than the last comp, right? That's the only way that prices go higher. Investors aren't going to do that. A lot of these first-time buyers aren't going to do that.
Appraisals are coming in lower than purchase prices right now.
Are they?
On more of an abundance than normal, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So it's
there-
starting to happen.
That'll also crimp the game a little bit, because in order for a market to go up, it actually takes a tremendous amount of momentum. You got to have a buyer who's saying, yeah, I'll pay $580 for that, even though the appraisal's $550, because I got to have it, and there's nothing else. So it's tough. It's tougher for prices to go higher than people realize. It's much easier for them to go down. Like one comp, like the first person who bails out of the neighborhood and is like, all right, sell it, short sale, whatever, get out of here. That person creates a comp, and that screws everybody. So I think it's easier for prices to go down than it is for them to go up. And they've gone up for so many straight years now. I just don't know if there's any gas left in that tank here for 2017.
I think that I think San Diego in relative proportions especially to Northern California, which is just not as desirable. I just had
agree with you on
Thanksgiving.
that.
I just had a Thanksgiving up there, driving through San Jose and San Francisco, and then coming back to San Diego, thinking, "Oh my goodness, how awesome is it to be here in San Diego?" And the reality is, that especially with my parents have an investment property in the form of their retirement home here in San Diego, and it's just the retirement. It's literally the retirement place to be in California, and there's whether there's jobs or not, there's going to be people retiring here in San Diego because of the weather. We're going to see wealthy snowbirds from other states literally purchasing their retirement and or second home.
Other countries.
So are you saying
Especially.
that San Diego's kind of like an untapped, like where
It's still
more
absolutely
people are coming?
untapped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that. It's a hidden gem to the extent that if you went and talked to people in other countries and said, what cities do you know about in the United States? They
San
would
Fran,
say,
New York,
exactly, San
Chicago.
Francisco, Los Angeles,
Yeah,
Boston.
LA.
Yeah, these are the cities that have good worldwide branding. San Diego doesn't quite have that yet, but we have the best weather.
and we still have two, what I believe is untapped markets still. Oceanside, which is, I still believe, because it's still near the ocean, it's still not commensurate to the prices in Carlsbad. And we have Imperial Beach, which is literally just a hop, skip, and a jump from Coronado. We have $1 million properties in Imperial Beach now.
But
So
I think they've been saying that about Imperial Beach for about 20 years. That's why all the
The Imperial Beach discussion coming up.
but it's happening.
Well, it could be. And
Yeah.
I think that the trouble with Imperial Beach has always been that it's so close to the border. That's the trouble with it, because it's like, Coronado's right there, but that's obviously, there's a naval base there. People feel a lot safer
Yeah.
there, so they'll say. But, up north, though, we're talking about bridging the gap between Los Angeles and San Diego. I agree. Everything that's between up there, between Temecula, which is already blowing up, to even like Fallbrook, Bonsall, Oceanside, those areas along that corridor, we're going to see those areas all blossom over the years because you've got a populace that's growing in that direction from both sides. The Orange County side, which is being, rollover from LA, and San Diego growing out towards it. So you have, it's coming from both directions,
Right.
basically. And you only have that in that spot. So I agree with you on
So
Oceanside.
going back to our first topic, then
Okay.
we're talking about, hey, how can we afford all this explosive growth? Well, if you look at cities like Escondido, San Marcos, Vista, Oceanside, all along that corridor over there, we still have affordable pricing.
Yeah.
We still when you have lower end pricing still in the 300 range in Escondido, and even potentially 200 range in Escondido, it's not far fetched to think that it still has a roof and a ceiling to go, much higher.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about home prices, we're not talking about Rancho Santa Fe or La Jolla. We're talking about affordable pricing in affordable areas, and the lower end still has some way to go along the corridor, and so it's still very attractive. And you're going to find people, if they can't afford Carmel Valley, and if they don't want to afford Carmel Valley, even though they have the money, instead of putting 30% down on their Carmel Valley property, they might pay cash in Escondido.
That's true. Well, and I will say that I do think the San Francisco example makes a lot of sense to bring up. And this is the one that I always go back to because I've been to San Francisco. I think the same thing. I go there and I'm like, it's cold. Why is real estate twice as expensive here? It's in the same state, so you have all the same taxes and laws, and yet it's freezing here. Right. I mean, it really is. The weather is completely different up there. It's windy, it's rainy, it's small, it's congested. They don't have nearly the space and the sunlight that we have here, or the beaches.
The traffic is horrible.
The traffic's
Right.
insane. Everything is so ridiculously
Yeah.
expensive. So I think easily I could see San Diego one day outpay in the long run, in the long race. I'll say, San Francisco's way ahead right now. I see San Diego picking up ground on that.
Which is
The
really,
hare and the turtle.
and
That's
we
right.
really, that's the
Tortoise and the
definition
hare.
of investment, right? Anything less than 5 years is gambling.
That's true.
And if that's the case, then why wouldn't we be looking at San Diego as a long-term? I mean, a mortgage is 30 years.
I know if you think about it, it's like the best hedge against inflation, really. I mean, you're going to give me at a 3% or a 3.5% or 4% or even a 5% 30-year fixed. I mean, let's talk about like a
realistic rate.
Realistic rates. And I would love a 5% 30-year fix. I have no idea. Inflation is going to bypass that all day long, and the banks are just going to be stuck with it. So I think we need to correct, some of our mind or our homeowners to thinking more long-term as well. So the average person that stays in the mortgage right now is like 36 months. Get that out to like 5 or 7 years. I think that people are going to have a little bit more respect on actually the benefits of it.
I agree. I think there needs to be even a longer outlook on it. I mean, when you talk about, if you buy something, I don't care when you buy it, real estate-wise, especially in San Diego, 30 years from now, when you own it free and clear, it's going to be worth tremendously more than what you paid for it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Tremendously, probably shockingly more. So if you know that going into it, then maybe the strategy just needs to change up front. Like when you're buying that first house, you're not selling it. You're renting it out or something along those lines, different
But
strategy.
if your goal is really to buy, is to really have a free and clear property in the future, why wouldn't you want to get that closer by buying multiple properties now, knowing that real estate prices with inflation is going to be increasing? If you're a veteran here in San Diego and you put no down on a property, and then you kept that mortgage without refinancing it, and then you decided, hey, 5 years from now my family's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to keep my VA loan on it because it's at 3% or 3.25% or whatever the rate would be, and then you just go FHA, you have your 3.5% down, and then you're going, okay, well, my kids are another 5 years older, I want to buy another house, and interest rates have gone up, so I'm going to keep my 5% loan. Then you go in and do a Freddie Mac loan or whatever type of loan at another 5% down. Now you've got the minimum down on 3 properties earning the same rate of return as the rest of real estate.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think holding on does make sense for a lot of people.
But we're so worried about everyone. I mean, the media has put on, and I'm not blaming the media. The media is intelligent, okay? They're the ones that are, helping the economy by refinancing, by constantly purchasing, by constantly buying and selling, and hey, you can make $20,000 today. That 20 grand is amazing to that individual because they don't see long term. But telling somebody to start thinking 20 years when they're already thinking 36 months is like too far away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's why we gotta start thinking and getting out there and saying, hey, 36 months. Try to think just 60 months. Give me 5 years of your time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Can we think that far in advance?
That won't get you through all the hurdles, but it'll get you through a lot of them. But I
Yeah.
mean, what we've seen is, 10 years is the number that really will get you pretty much through everything from stock market to real estate crashes. I'm talking about if you
10 to
bought at the
15
top.
years.
If you buy at the top, in about 10 years,
Yeah.
on average, will be the amount of time you need, and you're going to be through it. That seems like an eternity for people when they're living in a house that's $300,000-400,000 upside down, as we saw in the past crash. It seems like an eternity, but in reality, nothing's changed.
Right.
No.
Once you buy the house, nothing's changed. If they valuate it less, your taxes go down. You get a benefit for that.
Yeah, your asset only costs a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
That's it, folks.
That's it. So it is that simple.
Yeah.
But yet that far away because of the shorter term mindset and the idea. Now listen, no one went broke ever taking a profit. So, I mean, I get it. You bought your house in 2011, you're sitting there looking at it going, what are people paying for houses next door? Call our agent.
Yeah. Sold.
Yes, sell.
But you have to live somewhere. That's the trick.
And that's what you have to figure out. So if you're cool with that, if you want to play the game, you want to try to time the market, you want to go rent a place, go for it. I can tell you with personal experience, it is much more difficult than it looks like. And you will watch the market run away from you at least once in your life, and it's going to be a painful 5, 6, 7 years while you're waiting for prices to go down and they continue to climb every month. That's going to be a painful, very frustrating, very lonely 6 to 7 years with your tear and your beer.
With your rent going up because prices are going up, rents are going up. I mean,
I don't think it's, with all due respect, I don't think it's so prudent to say, I'm going to wait for the market to go down or for the wait to market. Just enjoy your house now. Why wouldn't we be just enjoying what we have today?
Totally
Yes,
get it.
because inflation calls that in San Diego, at least over the last 100 years, eventually it's going to go up.
yeah.
So why not enjoy it now?
Very good point.
Why would, it's not a matter of throwing money away. It's just, if you really, really want to enjoy your life and not have to worry about, the market's going up, the market's going down.
Don't even look at it.
Don't even look at it. Just
shouldn't
buy now and enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The market will correct itself eventually.
Right.
And
You don't have to be susceptible to it.
And
No.
I don't think there's anybody that likes moving every 3-4 years. Yes, please hand me boxes every 3 to 4 years. No, it doesn't work that way.
Well, great stuff, guys. Fantastic conversation. Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Michael and Sean, the mortgage geek from Cornerstone Mortgage Group, you guys this is a good discussion, something that we need to have more often, I think, as people need to become educated about these things.
Absolutely.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.